And we are live. What is up, everybody? Aaron the dog back with two of my three panelists. The third will be joining us soon with his desk. But with me, as always, Lucky Locks and just my 2 cents. We're here to break down UFC Fight Night, Fight Day, UFC ABC on Abu Dhabi, whatever it's called. Cory Sandhagen and Umar Nurmagamedov are going to be fighting in the afternoon, so that's exciting. Before we get started, we'll go around, talk to our panelists before we begin. Coming off of a 4 out of 5 Zhang Li, Colin Alaharin, you're dead to me. But who is alive and well to me is Lucky Locks. How you doing coming off of last week?
Yeah, pretty good, man. I gave out two bets on the show last week. We had Paddy Pimblett. That was pretty easy money. The Rising pick, though, we lost that one. So 1-1, a little split there. We'll see if we can come back strong this week. Couple good fights on the top of the card here. And yeah, looking forward to chopping it up with you guys as always. And also thank you as always for having me on. And should be a fun night.
Yeah. No, and I was half joking before saying that it was a bad card. It's really not a bad card. I'm actually very excited for this card. And there's certain spots for sure. And I got a Zhang Li array to go. So we'll see if I have to change any after talking with you guys. But 2 cents, how you doing tonight?
I'm doing wonderfully, Aaron. Thank you for asking, and thank you for having me on the show as always. It is one of the highlights of my week, so this is awesome. Coming off a losing week, I lost like a unit and a half, but I did nail Paddy Pimblett at plus money, which felt pretty good. So I'm not too discouraged. I'm still up on the year, so I'm looking forward to these fight day breakdowns, as you said. But shout out to you guys. Shout out to everyone in the chat. Make sure you guys smash the like button for Aaron. And yeah, looking forward to this one.
And yeah, Lou will be with us soon. His attendance is nothing short of impeccable. But yeah, we're in Abu Dhabi. We got some strange fights on the card. I will be pointing them out as we get to them. And we've got one right off the bat here at middleweight because SD Dumas is back and they put him in Abu Dhabi for some reason against Denis Tululuin, however you say that name. Either way, this fight, I feel like it is an opportunity for SD to show his fight IQ. And I do think that he does have some decent fight IQ against certain levels of competition. And I just think with Denis, you kind of know what you're getting. I do think Denis, he's got the KO threat. I think that's about it. I think as he gets extended, I think in the grappling, particularly SD can have some advantages there. And I think, standing wise, SD can stay out of trouble and kind of cruise to a decision as well. But either way, I like SD in this spot, and I think that he gets it done by submitting Denis. But I'm not going to be betting that anytime soon. Lucky, what's your thoughts on the first fight of the night?
Oh boy, this is really something here. They're both not really that good. Tululin, I think, is not good to a greater extent than SD Dumas. I like Tululin because he's a hero. He's a good soldier. The UFC calls him and says, "Look, you're not really good enough to be here, but we don't care. We love you. Go out and do what you do, which is go to war. Do not defend anything." Dumas, honestly, not really that good either. So I would not lay -2x on XX on him against, almost anyone. But I think he should have Tululin covered. I agree with you. I think if he wants to come out here and grapple, he can have success doing that. I think he wins. I'm just not willing to put anything on him above like -155, -160 probably. I would love to see Tululin come out here and get a big W. That would be electric. But I don't think that's going to happen. I think it's going to be SD Dumas here.
I would not want to see that. I just want to make this clear right off the bat. Yeah, he's on the Zhang Li. We don't care about lines on the Zhang Li. We care if it's right or wrong. So, like, right here, Dumas for sure would be the side if I didn't see a line. That's how I approach the Zhang Li candidates. So you can have what you think about that, but worst comes to worst, and we are wrong on Dumas to start the night, we get to reload the Zhang Li right away, which is not the approach we usually have. But I am going to offer a second Zhang Li with another fighter if Dumas does bust since he's the first of the night. 2 cents. What's your thoughts on this one?
I can't add too much more to it because I'm on the same side. I think it's a Cedricus Dumas spot. I'm not usually someone that looks too deeply into interviews as far as like what the fighter's saying, but I did watch Mills's interview with SD, and he did say that he got his weight cutting under control a little bit more, and he had like a full camp. Like he wasn't like just coming out of jail on short notice or anything. So like I think he's going to be better prepared in the spot. I think he fucking smashes Tallulah. And yeah, I think it's like a knockout or a GM or a club and sub. But yeah, give me Dumas inside the distance here.
Yeah, and I don't make it a secret. Like I've interviewed SD myself back in the day when I was on Fight Bananas. I think he's definitely kind of learning on the spot in the UFC. So he's making a lot of his mistakes right in front of I think he got to the UFC way too early, but at the same point, I think when there's a large skill gap, he has enough fight IQ to take it to where he can win it, I think.
Yeah, dude, and like quietly, this is his 6th fight. So like you said, yeah, he came in a little young, but like he's got like a little bit of experience now in a short period of time.
Yeah, but minus 230, obviously, pretty gross. Plus 190, the over 1.5 minus 175. I think that this one could get a little bit extended, so I do think it goes into the 2nd or 3rd round here, but we shall see. I think that's enough talk on SD Dumas and Denis Tallulah. All right, next fight, the 155 debut or return for Rolando Bedoya taking on Jai Herbert here. Yeah, this is a fight. First off, from a betting perspective, I don't want really anything to do with. Jai Herbert at this point is beyond untrustworthy in terms of his chin. I think his IQ, his own aggression, just I don't trust Jai Herbert a whole lot. Rolando Bedoya, I think, is the side here. He's 9 years younger. I just think he's going to have a lot of power coming down from 170 here. He looks to be in really great shape, so I think the discipline will help pay off as well. I totally get anybody taking the dog shot on Bedoya. He's got to show it to me, but at the same point, I think he's got a pretty prime candidate in the nearly 37-year-old. Dare I say, at this point, washed Jai Herbert. Just against Ziem looked afraid to engage in any form of combat. So to me, I think Bedoya not afraid to engage in combat. Probably has some power coming down from 170 as well. Yeah, Bedoya's the side, but no bet for me. 2 cents.
Definitely no bet, boys. There is no way I could, in good conscience, lay any sort of thing even close to chalk on Jai Herbert. It almost feels like he should be the underdog here, but I get why he's not. And I'm actually going to pick Jai Herbert. I can't bet him because he could just get sparked out at any point, really. But I actually have just not been super impressed with Bedoya, so I'm not betting him either. He's going to be a popular underdog this week, I think. But I get it. He's, like you said, super, a lot younger, throws more volume, probably has more power coming down from 170. But I think Jai Herbert's the better wrestler, grappler, as bad as that is with the Eurotrash grappling. But I'm going to say he rats out a decision here, man. I'll say he mixes in a couple takedowns, and, he's not a bad distance striker. So if he doesn't get sparked out, give me Jai Herbert by a nasty, greasy split decision.
Yeah. All right. Lucky. What's your thoughts?
Yeah, I was surprised at how wide this line was earlier in the week. Obviously, it's come in. I just don't think Jai Herbert is all that good, And to be fair, he's had kind of a hard field to plow in the UFC. No doubt he's fought some very good fighters, and he's had some decent showings of himself in some. But it's similar to what I said about Sung Woo Choi in the Steve Garcia fight, where I bet Garcia a couple weeks ago. It's people were saying, "Oh, Sung Woo Choi, he's pretty good. He's had hard matchups." Sometimes you just kind of have to zoom out and take in the info in a macro sense. And sure, you could say, well, he had a draw with Klein. He looked really good against Topuria before being dealt a career-altering knockout, probably. But when you look at it, he's had 7 fights in the UFC. He's been here for 4 years. He's got 2 wins. I don't want to bet this person at a chalk price. Yeah. And So, to Justin's point in the chat, we were just in England last week. UFC didn't chuck this guy on the card. They aren't trying to build this guy up. And listen, I know Bedoya is 0-2 in the UFC, but like you said, Aaron, he's 9 years younger. He's way higher volume in the striking. I think Herbert probably, I'd probably give him the power in this one, but I think Bedoya is a little bit better on defense. And I think he's probably the side as the dog. He was minus 400 favorite in his last fight and he lost. Now he's an underdog. I think probably it's a buy low spot on Bedoya if I had to make a bet, but I don't, so I won't. But I am going to lean his way as the underdog in this matchup.
Yeah, this is one of the best approaches you can have for a lot of this card. You don't, so you won't. Plus 120 at this point. A lot of money has come in on Bedoya. So minus 188 to over 2.5. Again, I feel like the first couple of fights, you could get those overs and kind of just stack them together. It's juice, but still at the same point. It is most likely correct. All right, next fight, strawweight fight. I think this is a really gross fight. I think it's a prime candidate to be canceled for the week. There are some moments where I was like, yeah, I could really go for the dog in this spot in Sam Hughes. She keeps a good pace and just, keeps a good pace. Track and field college athlete. Other things that you bring up about Sam Hughes, Sam Page. Yeah, that's all I got to say about this. And Victoria Dudakova, she's all right, I guess. Like, I think that she's gonna have to move up in weight soon, probably after this fight when she misses weight and then wins, and then we learn nothing. I in all seriousness, I would take Sam Hughes in this spot. And if I had to bet, it would be Sam Hughes, but I don't, so I won't. Sam Hughes by just cardio kickboxing decision, changing levels at times. Just by the middle of the second round, Victoria Dudakova is going to be running on fumes if she makes it to the UFC or makes it to the weigh-ins. Lucky, do you have something more profound to say about this one?
I don't really have anything that I would consider profound to say here. I am going to be on the other side. I think Dudakova is all right. I think Hughes, not really. And I think you're probably getting a bit of a discount on Dudakova here. I'd probably make her a little bit of a bigger favorite in this one. And, people love Sam Hughes. Every time she fights, it feels like people are always, hunting for the value on her. I don't really think there is a ton of it this time. Dudakova is younger than her. She's longer than her. Striking could be a little bit dicey because, as you pointed out, Hughes is always going to be there. She's going to be in your face. She's going to be there for 15 minutes. She pushes a good pace. I think Dudakova is a little more technical. I also think, she has the ability to get this one to the ground. But, in case you were wondering, no, I will not be betting on this unranked strawweight prelim, but I am going to lean Dudakova here.
Fair enough. 2 coin.
I wish I could, but I just fucking can't here, boys. Dudakova is going to win a fucking robbery, and all the Sam Page backers are going, she got robbed. She won the 3rd round and probably the second. Yeah, whatever. I'm not betting it. Like, Dudakova by fucking split or something. Maybe she gets her down, like Lucky said. But yeah, give me Victoria here by something. I can't do it, man. I can't get all Sam Page down.
I have a question here. This is the first time I'm looking at the over-under for this fight. Can anybody talk me into the under 2.5?
You are talking to the worst fucking time prop better ever. So I'll just defer to Lucky on that.
Is plus 310 for under 2.5 rounds in this fight. Someone could get injured, right? This is insane. Anyways, yeah, I guess that we are going over.
1-800-GAMBLER, my friends.
So you're telling me we're going to see a lot of commercials on ABC for the first from noon to 1:30 because we're about to watch 9 rounds of MMA.
Whatever that fucking airline is, the Middle Eastern airline shit, you're going to see about 1 million of those fucking
Okay. That's crazy to me that the over 2.5 in this fight is minus 450. I guess it makes sense. These are 2 very non-lethal strawweights, but still. All right. Yeah. We'll move on to the next fight. Plus 140 to Sam, minus 170 to Victoria. So a lot of money has come in on Sam. So there's a lot of upset Twitter backers. All right. Now I feel like we really get the card started because we have a really interesting fight here at 155. Guram Kudladze taking on Jordan, the epidemic Vucenic. Very, very good fight here. I'm a big fan of Mr. Vucenic. First of all, shout out to Norden MMA, OG of the channel, one of my good friends. Been talking to him a lot lately because, Norden, he's from England. We all know Lewis, if you've been familiar with this channel. He had two guys that he's touted more than anybody I know for the longest time. Aspinall back in Cage Wars said he was going to be a champion since back in Cage Wars. I think he's kind of on to something there. And Vucenic. I think Vucenic's very ready for this spot here. I fought a few, I don't know how, 7 days ago or something. Either way, he's not the type of fighter who gets too out of shape, for one. For two, I think the way he matches up with Guram could be very advantageous if he can get it to his spot. It's the grappling. He's got to make this fight dirty. He's got to work the takedowns. I'm hoping on the short notice his gas tank's able to maintain it. Guram, to me, has just not been the goods. He really is not. We've been kind of promised something, and just at every point there's been injuries, weight issues, short notice changes either way. But I think that he gets choked out here against Vucenic. I made a bet on Vucenic at plus 200. Vucenic also is in the Zhongli because we are going for it. I am putting my money where my mouth is with Jordan. But, there's obviously a realm where Guram can kind of work the kickboxing, but I just think even with a short notice opponent, there's still kind of the question of how Guram kind of maintains through the 15 minutes. I think the 155 weight is a rough cut for Guram. He never looks like he makes the weight too well. And I don't know. I think Vucenic has been very ready for this opportunity. So I'm riding with the dog. Jordan by Sumish. 2 cents.
Guram is going to win this fight by cheese clutching, fucking wheel spinning, upside down water bottle drinking like rat fest. He's gonna rat this dude to a victory. I don't think he's losing 3 in a row. I agree with what you said largely about being sold a bill of goods with Guram, but I kind of feel like I'm being sold a bill of goods with Vucenic here. I did like what I saw from the tape study, but it's not the easiest first outing. I know that he has wins over dudes like Charrier, but yeah, I'm going to say Guram rats his way to a fucking decision here, much to the chagrin of Vucenic backers, but I'm glad that he's in the John League because I will be tailing that. So let's go.
Yeah, I would say Vucenic has the better level of competition besides the Scamrot fight, but we say what you will about Scamrot. Lucky Rock, the newly extended Scamrot, Lucky Locks.
Yeah, I think the line's wide, and not because I don't think highly of Guram. I still think he's pretty good, regardless of the 2-fight losing streak. The Ismagulov fight, there's a viable argument that he won that fight. The Brenner fight, he was up 2-0 on every card before getting stopped in the third. He has a win over Gamrot. I didn't think he deserved that one, but still, he fought him close enough to where he was able to pull that result out of his ass. I'm still high on his upside generally. I'm not high enough to play minus 2XX against Vucenic here. I think Vucenic is really good. Actually, he's beaten Paul Hughes, also lost to him, but he has a win over him. Beat Morgan Charrier. He submitted James Hendon, who's pretty decent. And he submitted his opponent in his last 5 wins. He's won 4 in a row now. I think he's good enough to put up a fight here. And, there are some things you got to factor into the capping, obviously. Short notice, short turnaround for Vucenic. He's not a natural 155er, but he did just fight at that, that weight class, the catch weight in his last fight, which was, I think, 2 weeks ago. Because he was just running out of guys to fight on the regionals. So I do think it's a good signing for the UFC. I like the guy. And I think he's the side at the plus money. I think it's a high-level fight here, to be honest. And the margins could be pretty slim. So I would lean on the side of the dog in this one.
Yeah, no, I'm really excited to see him in here. I do think he definitely deserves it. Those fights with Paul Hughes were really great, too. Really good fights to go back and watch on Fight Pass if you got it. So plus 140 on the under 2.5 here. Kind of interesting, but I do think it could very well go to a decision as well. All right, here we go. we got the Don't Tail Maze section of the program, and Shamil Gaziev is back on the prelims where he belongs. He never should have left the prelims. There was a mistake, an error in judgment, in managing to put him into a main event, and we got to benefit off that in his last fight there against Jairzinho. And now it's kind of back down to reality, facing Don't Tail Maze, who struggled against Kyle Machado in his last fight, one of the worst fights of the year, honestly. And this fight has a chance to really follow it up with being one of the worst fights of the year. If it gets into round 3, we are all in big, big trouble because it's going to be horrific. And, you know, at the same point, Gaziev's probably going to do enough, put enough volume on Don't Tail Maze and avoid the wrestling of Division I Don't Tail Maze enough here to bank 2 rounds at least if he doesn't put him away inside those 2 rounds. Shamil's the side on fading Don't Tail Maze, and it's honestly why he's in the Zhongli parlay. I hate to say it, but Shamil Gaziev is in the Zhongli parlay. This is just a fade on Don't Tail, though. Lucky, we'll go to you, and then we'll get 2 cents back when he decides to show back up.
Oh, yeah, he's gone. What the heck? Yeah, so Maze is horrible. And I know Gaziev is a bit of a meme himself, and believe me, I've had many a laugh about Mr. Shamil Gaziev. But, you know, he's not, like, as horrible as people would have you believe. He's got no cardio, but his hands are all right. And, you know, Maze is kind of, I think, as bad as people would have you believe. Gaziev's from Dagestan, obviously representing Bahrain now. So home game pretty much for him in Abu Dhabi. Maze is, you know, fighting competitively with Kyle Machado. He's, you know, maybe without that knockdown, man, I don't know what those scorecards are looking like. You know, he's losing to Augusto Sakai. He's losing to Hamdi Abdelwahab. You know, I do not care if that was overturned. Don't care. On the Gaziev side, you know, his last fight against Rosenstrike, that was a bad look. But it's going to take more than that for me to say you're going to lose to Don't Tail Maze. You know, I know Maze is younger, he's bigger, but I think Gaziev has the striking to win this fight, kind of like you alluded to. You know, Martin Budai would probably be the best one of Maze's career. So, you know, I'll go with Gaziev. I'm not paying minus 250 on him. I would need to see like minus 165 probably to want anything to do with him on the money line. But it is a massive step down for Gaziev here, and he should win this one, in my opinion.
Well, after Vucenic and Dumas come through, this Gaziev line will turn into like plus 700. So you got yourself a deal.
There you go.
That's how we do math here on Aaron the Dog MMA. 2 cents. What's your thoughts? First of all, these 2 Tapology pictures, probably the best 2 of the night. But what's your thoughts on this fight?
So I was super like, I've been like, I loved fading Gaziev so much in the last spot.
Great.
And I cashed so fucking big on Rosenstrike. I had such a good time doing that I like wanted to bet Don't Tail Maze. And yeah, then I saw that fucking Tapology picture and I was, can't do it. Yeah, give me Gaziev here. It is a pretty big step down from Biggie Boy. And like, I don't know how he's going to approach this fight. I don't know if he's going to be gun shy or not, but I could see a world where he is the one that looks like Division I fucking Sambo King and like just takes Don't Tail Maze down and smashes the living Christ out of him. So yeah, give me Gaziev to bounce back here. He is in the core of the pub parlay this week. So yeah, I have back Gaziev, and I think he gets it done. I think he bounces back here.
Yeah, he's in the pub parlays in the Zhongli. What could go wrong here? You know, plus 124 to the over in this fight. So there's good news. They're expecting a finish in this fight. So that's exciting. But yeah, we're going to move on to the next fight. What a heavyweight fight for the Abu Dhabi crowd. And next, oh boy, we have the UAE warrior himself, Muhammad Yahya, taking on Cal Fernandez. This is the circus fight of the night. This is the circus line of the night. Just everything about this fight, complete circus. I want nothing to do with it. I'll watch it. Muhammad Yahya got absolutely exposed against Gavin Hughes and just, I think, showed that when he takes any sort of a level up in competition with an opponent, he crumbles. He'll crumble in the striking. He'll crumble in the grappling. honestly, I am not a Muhammad Yahya believer, but Cal Fernandez is not like this untouchable god either. And I could definitely see him coming in here and taking the Abu Dhabi dive. And it would not surprise me at all if there's a robbery. Wouldn't surprise me at all if there's a early stoppage. Wouldn't surprise me at all if he gets clipped and goes down like Krzyzewski against Elvis Brenner. It's just like whatever like there's something fishy about this fight, and I don't have the balls to bet Muhammad Yahya because he's horrific at fighting MMA. So I'm gonna say Cal Fernandez gets it done by submission, but I have a feeling something funny comes up in this fight, and I don't want anything to do with it. So I'll stay away. 2 cents.
You're right, Aaron. There is a funny vibe around this fight. I don't want anything to do with it. I don't want anything to do with even deciding to pick it. So, boys, it worked last time with Peterson and whoever the fuck he beat. So we're gonna go to it this time too. Get your fucking asses ready. Get your popcorn out. Smash the like button for Aaron.
That was Kamaru Usman's brother.
Because the coin is going to speak for me in this one. I'm not touching this sack of shit. Like Noah said, this could end up being a Muhammad Yahya robbery, so the coin is going to speak for me. Smash the like button.
I'm telling you, if this coin picks Yahya and hits Yahya, this coin is goated.
So I'm going to make heads, I guess, Fernandez because he's the favorite, right? And then Yahya will be tails.
That's how it works.
But here we go. The coin will speak. Oh, that was a mighty flip, too.
That's usually accurate.
And it said Fernandez.
All right. Well, the coin doesn't want to be wrong. That's fair. Anticlimactic, but right is right. Either way, not really interested. Lucky, what are your thoughts on Kyle Fernandez from our LFA fights where he was an underdog?
Of course I do. Of course. Yeah, I mean, the UFC is really trying to make Yahya a thing for the UAE. He's just not very good, though. They watched his last fight and they were like, all right. Call Khamzat Chimaev. We're going to pay him to represent us instead. I think that was, worthwhile investment. Or maybe not, because we haven't seen him in a while. But, they've definitely tried to softball Yahya here, giving him Fernandez, who's not great. But, still, I'm not sure the ball is soft enough. They gave him Trevor Peek in his debut. He couldn't get it done there. I think Yahya is just plain not good. I really don't have much to say on this fight. Fernandez is decent all around. But I'm not touching him minus 400 in Abu Dhabi with a 10-foot pole against the guy whose nickname is the UAE Warrior. So I think Fernandez wins. But, I would never pay this price on him, especially in this spot, in this locale against this opponent. So,
I agree. I bet him hard last time against Trevor Peek. Never again. So we will move on. As we go through this minefield of a card, we're at the featured prelim. And this featured prelim, this thing right here, combined 71 years old, these two, they're both going to be on a lot of sauce for this fight. One of them is going to actually look like they're on PEDs. The other one, I think, is going to unfortunately fight like they're on PEDs. Asmat Mirzakhanov taking on my former boy, Alonzo Menafield. Until that last fight. We were having a real good run there, Alonzo. And then you ran into the worst game plan ever in running into every single punch in your last fight. Not the way to go against Ulberg. But before that, was looking much better, more composed, using his overall game. His cardio seemed to be coming along. The EPO was really working, whatever it was. But I think that as much as I'd like to put Alonzo Menafield into the Zhongli parlay and blow it up here, I can't do that. But I do think that he has the better gas tank of the two of these fighters. And it's oh, wow. Alonzo Menafield having the better gas tank, that's a weird way to go with it. But that's just how bad Asmat Mirzakhanov is. And, mind you, Tefon Nchukwi was giving him everything he could handle and more until that third round. That is not something I'm going to forgive when against as we move on here, because that was a few fights ago, and he fights Devin Clark. He looked fine. He got the finish, but the Dustin Jacoby fight, I don't think he looked any better. This is dog or pass for me. I am going to take – I'm not betting him as of now. If it gets to like plus 200, I'll think about it. But I'll take Alonzo Menafield to win a decision here. I know that's a disgusting idea, but I just think that he has the better guessing and the better MMA game plan. I think Azamat really sucks, honestly. And like this is a very fortunate 13-0, which I get it. Like it's kind of weird to say, but I just have a feeling Alonzo gets it done, but not enough to bet it. Lucky.
Yeah, Menafield is back way too quickly after that last result for my liking, coming all the way to Abu Dhabi to fight another big hitter in Mirzakhanov. I think in this spot, I actually think the price is fair on Azamat. He's gives up size to a lot of guys. His striking is pretty precise. He gets more volume out than Menafield just on a permanent basis. I think he's a little more responsible on defense, decent enough in the takedown defense department. I know Menafield started to mix it up a little bit with wrestling lately, but he's not much of a specialist there in my view. I just kind of see Mirzakhanov sparking him here. I think this turnaround is way too quick for Menafield.
Yeah, no, I totally get it. But another part of the reason I have no interest in taking any part of this, like the Azamat fade is coming. I'm in a rush to get to it, maybe, but 2 cents.
Dude, shout out to the 13 people in the building. Like the General Alex Ramirez said, smash the like button, please. And yeah, I'm kind of with Lucky. Dude, I got PTSD from that last fucking Carl Olberg fight or whatever. Like, I can't bet Menafield. I want to so fucking bad, but I'm just too traumatized. I think it's too quick of a turnaround. Yeah, I think Azamat chins him, but I can't bet that either, man. So yeah, it'll just be a pick for me.
Yep. Yeah, I'm gonna sit out and hopefully I'm just blowing up the chat later and talking about how I wish I would have bet it, but oh well. All right, on to the main card. We'll just keep this one kind of chomping along here. But yeah, plus 170, minus 205 to Mirzakhanov. Under 1.5 at plus 124 isn't a bad stab either. Joel Alvarez, Elvis Brenner, I think is one of the better fights on the entire card. Very exciting fight to start out. Joel Alvarez has looked very, very good lately, honestly, against everybody not named Armin Sarukian. There's no real shame there at all. There is some kind of questions if he is a 155 or if he is going to make weight. I think that's kind of irrelevant. This is another spot here where I could definitely see him moving up after here and still fighting after missing the weight. Elvis Brenner took on Mayobek Orolabe in the last fight, and no shame there. Mayobek did Mayobek things. We're a big Mayobek channel here, so I'm going to just excuse that and move it on here and say that Joel Alvarez, very good grappler, does not have the wrestling chops, obviously, of a Mayobek. And here, I think Elvis, it could be the one who gets the takedowns at times as the fight goes on. I think early on, that'd be a terrible idea. I think that Elvis can, impose a lot of good pressure, volume. I think he's got decent power as well. Wouldn't surprise me if he caught Joel Alvarez. I do think Alvarez is a very, very good hammer, and he's been doing very well in that spot. Once he gets that momentum going, including with the striking, I think his striking's taking a lot of steps up. And looking like carrying some good power there, throws good knees. And then obviously the grappling is very good as well. I understand why he's a favorite. I think the line is way heavy here, and I do think that Elvis Brenner, I liked him at plus 105, and now he's plus 165. So I've triple dipped on him at this point. I do think Elvis Brenner's the side. I think he's got the finishing upside. But I also think that I do think that he can kind of put on the volume and take advantage of the cardio as the fight goes. So I got Elvis Brenner in this spot. Give me him by decision. 2 cents.
Yeah, it feels like, I think, Aaron, you said this earlier in one of the chats or a DM or something that Elvis Brenner was an underdog that shouldn't be. And I agree with that. I've never been a big Joel Alvarez dude. The fighters that he's beaten just aren't that fucking dangerous on the feet, dude, except for maybe like Armin. But like, I think he's in trouble if this is on the feet. Like Elvis Brenner works at a higher clip. the most strikes Joel Alvarez has ever thrown in a fucking UFC fight is 44. Elvis Brenner has surpassed that twice. I know that he's fought a higher level of competition, but I think on the feet, Joel Alvarez is going to get fucked up. I think his path is by sub. His striking has gotten better, so maybe he's a better hammer than the nail, like you said. So maybe he hurts Brenner. Guram, the rat that I mentioned earlier, that I guess I can see the fucking resemblance. Justin Villegas, you smartass. But nah, man, shout out to you, Justin. Yeah, give me Brenner here. I hope he's in the John Lee. I think you already alluded to that, so I'm glad that that is the case. And yeah, I think I like Brenner here. He's a popular underdog though, so I'm glad that I can just tail the John Lee and have a little action on it.
Yes, sir. He is in the Zhang Li, and I told you he shouldn't have been an underdog when it was plus 105. So at plus 165, it is what it is. Sometimes the line movement means something, sometimes it doesn't. We're betting it doesn't here. Lucky, what's your thoughts on this one?
Yeah, I guess unfortunately I'm crashing the party. I like Alvarez here. He's way bigger than him, and I think he's better than him. 20 wins, 20 finishes for Alvarez. 16 wins, 14 finishes for Brenner. Banger fight here. I like Brenner. I think he's good. I don't think he's quite on the same level as Joel Alvarez. I was surprised at how close this line got at the beginning of the week. Actually, it's moved back to around minus 200. That's more the line I was expecting. But I got to admit, when I took a look into it, there are openings and avenues for Brenner to win here. They have similar striking output. Alvarez has, a deadly submission game. Brenner is very good in that area as well. He's never been submitted. Both of them are great grapplers. I do think that Brenner has an edge in durability here. And, by the end of looking at it, I came away thinking like, yeah, I can see where Brenner poses a threat here. But ultimately, I think Alvarez is the better fighter of the two. I think that he's the more dangerous guy all around. Has very big size advantage at this weight class, and I think his ability to dole out punishment is superior. Obviously, he's a better hammer than a nail. So, if Brenner hangs around, like I said, I think he's more durable. I think he, definitely has the capability to put Alvarez away. But Alvarez's losses in the UFC are Sarukian and Ismagulov. I think Sarukian and the 2019 version of Ismagulov both probably rinse Brenner, but he's not fighting them. He's fighting Joel Alvarez. I think Alvarez has looked better in his wins. I think he's a little more proven. I think Brenner is slightly overrated in a general sense. The fight against Takugov, I didn't think he won that. The Guram fight, he was losing until he won. He was down 2 rounds in every card. And the Kuchewski fight, he just isn't good.
Yeah.
But I think this fight is probably going to be a car crash. I like the Alvarez side where I expect both to kind of come out and try to find a finish. He's a lot bigger. I think he's more powerful and a little more dangerous. So I like Alvarez, but I'm not involved in any financial capacity in this fight.
Fair enough. He is in the Zhang Li. And joining us for the final 4.5 fights is Lou Betya. Impeccable timing, 10:40 on the dot. Welcome to the show.
Sorry, guys. Finishing up. Only time I can do the prop show. I'm really sorry.
It's okay. Do you have any thoughts on Joel Alvarez and Elvis Brenner?
It's not all good. Aaron's been angrily DMing me like, what the fuck, dude? No, I'm just kidding. Yeah. What's up? What's up, partner?
Value side, Brenner for sure. I would rather, from a betting perspective, live entry on Brenner. Alvarez doesn't fight very frequently. He has a lot of intangibles. There's a lot of reach. The problem with Alvarez is like his fighting style. I don't know. It does well with judges. He's happy to play off his back, guard pull, throw up subs. Like, he doesn't do damage until he wins. So I feel like Brenner, but the problem is I don't know if Brenner can get in his range the first round. So if Brenner loses the first round, he's going to be like plus 300. If he wins the first round and you think he won the first round, I don't think he's going to be he's going to be like minus 120. And I feel like Brenner wins round 3 at like a pretty high clip in this fight. Like, I trust his cardio a lot more. Even against Doral Bay, in a fight he's getting smoked, knocked him down. This dude fights for your money. So I'd rather live entry on Brenner. The pick for the show is Brenner for sure. He fights more frequently. I don't know what an Alvarez decision looks like, and I don't think Alvarez subs him. So simplistically, I would say if I can't see either one of those, got to be Brenner, right?
Yep, that's kind of how I felt about it too. And he is in the Zhang Li. I have Brenner as well. So We will move on to the next. But yeah, I believe is at plus. Is it still plus 165? Plus 165 still minus 200 to Joel here to start out the main card. And now the fight. This fight, another fight I don't really want anything to do with from a betting perspective. I hardly even want to watch this fight. Also, I think it's going to be on the feet for the most part. I think the grappling is not going to be a huge factor for either one of these two. I think it's going to be primarily on the feet. I think, like, from a technical perspective, Lupita has better boxing, but her IQ is horrendous. Her fight and her defense is also horrendous. Just look at, I mean, she has like a fight with Sam Hughes where she took so much damage in those 4 rounds of that LFA fight just for no reason. She does this over and over again. So it's like, I think it's a theme of the next couple fights where there's a minute winner in Lupita and there's a moment winner in Mackenzie Dern. I think Dern's has the more power here and whatnot. And I think her striking is closer than people are going to make it out to be. I'm going to take Lupita by a split decision, but I don't want anything to do with it. And I mean, I get if it's, I just feel like it's ending in a split this fight. So we'll start at the top and work our way down. Lucky, what's your thoughts on this strawweight combatant fight?
I've been low on both of these fighters for a pretty long time. I don't think either of them are that good. You know, Lupi was minus 250 against Shandaroba in her last fight. I mean, who in the blue hell thought up that line? You know, that was crazy. Dern as well, though, has been a favorite over people she has no business being a favorite over in hindsight. There's lots of examples of that up and down her record. And, you know, I just feel like everyone thinks both of these fighters are a lot better than they are. Both of them can be kind of erratic and illogical in their decision-making. They make a lot of fights way harder than they need to be, but I like Lupi in this fight. And, you know, I know Dern beat Hill and Jandaroba and Lupi lost to both. So how can I pick Lupi? Well, often in women's MMA, the math does not conform to our orthodox conventionalities, we'll say. Look no further than 2 weeks ago where, you know, Jandaroba, a fighter who lost to Dern, beat Amanda Lemos relatively easily after Lemos pummeled Mackenzie Dern. So I don't really care about the MMA math. You know, Lupi has been the favorite in every single UFC fight, all 11. Now she's an underdog. And I was pleased to see that here because I like it. I don't think that Mackenzie Dern is a super tough matchup for her. I think she's a bad matchup for Mackenzie Dern, actually. I think she's, you know, a better boxer. I don't think that's controversial. She's higher output. She's more accurate. She's more responsible on defense than Dern. I think her footwork's better. And I think, like you said, it's going to be a boxing match for the majority of the time here. And, you know, boxing on the Dern side got some praise after her Angela Hill win. I'm not really buying what they're trying to sell me there. I think on the feet, it's going to be Lupi here. And, you know, where does Dern win? Obviously on the ground, you know, but Dern's wrestling, as many people would probably agree, isn't very good. I'd go so far as to say it's bad. And, you know, that's Lupi's base. Her sister's competing at the Olympics as we speak. I think she can keep this one standing for the most part. You know, if it does hit the mat, she's never been submitted as a pro. She's been in there with Jandaroba, who had her down for 6.5 minutes and couldn't submit her. And Jandaroba is also better at getting the fight to the mat than Dern. So, you know, Mackenzie Dern, 2-3 in the last 5, 2-4 in the last 6. She got knocked down 4 times and put away against Andrade. Came back 3 months later, got knocked down in a loss to Lemos. Now she's back here 5 months later. It just doesn't feel to me like, you know, she's been going back to the drawing board at all here. It feels like she just keeps signing more and more fights without making a ton of changes. And I think she's kind of dependent on getting like some random standing back takes against the cage or pulling guard and reversing position to win rounds here. I just think this fight in its neutral state favors Lupi Godinez appreciably. So I think Lupi wins a boxing heavy decision against Mackenzie Dern. I would make her probably like even money favorite, like minus 115. So I bet her at plus 114. I feel like I'm getting, you know, close to 30 cents in value there. So we'll see what happens, but that's what I like here.
Fair enough. 2 cents. Where you stand on this very highly volatile, dangerous strawweight fight?
I'll tell you this, gentlemen. It has all the makings of a coin flip, but I'm just picking Mackenzie Dern. I'm not betting it, but I don't know, man. Like, I get it, and I'm going to wish Lucky the best of luck. Not that he needs it because he's Lucky Locks, but I certainly understand seeing Loopy at plus money after being such a almost like prohibitive favorite in some of her like previous bouts. But yeah, I think it's a step down for McKenzie as far as the danger factor. Like, I think if she stands and trades with Loopy, she's going to have more success than fucking doing that shit with homie Jessica and Lemos. But I do think if she's smart here, I think she's the better wrestler pretty clearly. Offensively, yes, and you don't have to worry about that too much from Dern because, like Lucky said, Dern's wrestling is fucking shit. Her takedowns are fucking horrific. They're crazy looking. But yeah, give me Dern to just win the moments, I guess, and win.
No.
But I want nothing to do with it. Just fucking pass.
Gross. All right, Lou.
I mean, Lucky took something I was gonna say, but that's because he's goated. Just from a market
Your weekly fellatio, Lucky.
Well, from a market perspective, we had the situation last week where Jake Hadley had historically always been the favorite, and then the market kind of started souring on him, and then he came in as a big dog, and he you know, I mean, Loughran is bum.
He busted the Zhongli. Thank you.
I mean, Loughran is just dead to us. Like,
yes,
he's the worst.
Yes.
But Hadley came in with a good game plan. But Hadley is a guy that came in, again, that was historically always a favorite in all his fights, Cage Warriors, UFC. And then the market said, like, we had enough of this dude and made him a dog, and he looked good. And now we're getting Loopy, like Lucky said, spin like minus 200, minus 300 in a lot of her fights. Now the market's like, we're done. We're done making her like a big favorite tag. I just think that's a very interesting aspect of betting this fight.
Mm-hmm. I agree.
I look, I hate juiced bets, but we talked about this like this week. I think fight goes the distance. Justin brought it up. I think fight goes the distance here. It's minus 200. I don't see how anybody finishes anybody here. Like, every minute on the feet, it should be Loopy with volume. Maybe Dern lands a couple of big shots, but Loopy's pretty tough. And in the grappling exchanges, I mean, this is where Loopy, like, just don't be stupid. As long as she doesn't get her back taken,
right?
Like, I think this fight's pretty safely going to go the distance. And, like, it's weird the Dudakova over is like minus 350 and this one's minus 200. I mean, I really don't see a finish here at all. So I would rather play fight.
Dudakova's up to like minus 500.
I mean, it's
5 for that fight.
But I just don't know how there's a finish here. And if this thing goes the distance, it probably means that Loopy avoided getting backpacked and getting grappled, and that she won a striking based decision. So,
yeah,
I'm going to play the over in a parlay piece, which I hate, but it's that kind of card. And give me Loopy to win. I like what you said, Aaron. I like a split decision here. It's probably going to be like plus 280, but like still, I like it. Like,
yeah, I think that this is a type of card that I might just round robin all the overs, honestly, because it feels like a lot of decisions throughout this card as we're talking through it. But we shall see. 3 of the 4 of us on Lupita, the underdog at plus 102 now. So move on to the next circus fight. The final. Is it? Tony Ferguson fight versus Michael Chiesa, who also on a hot streak. Really just 2 of the best here at welterweight. 2 young, up-and-coming prospects at the height apex of their careers, combined 77 years of age here coming into this fight. Chiesa shouldn't be minus whatever he's at this point, minus 5. Like, he just shouldn't be the amount favorite he is in this spot. We all have to go for a round 3 submission for Tony Ferguson for the culture and for our banks. I honestly just looked at this fight very low, minus 625 on Chiesa plus 455. I don't even want to pick a winner for this fight. I really don't. I'll take. I don't want to pick. This is like the least I've ever wanted to pick a fight. Give me Chiesa by decision. I don't know. I just don't think he's tough enough to beat Tony Ferguson. No, I'll probably submit him, but whatever. Chiesa by decision. Pass all as hard as pass can happen. 2 cents. Save
You
it.
should pass.
Yeah.
A smart man passes,
Of course.
but a dumbass like me takes a fucking flyer on Tony for the culture. I had to do it plus 500. Jesus fucking Christ.
How does he win?
I don't fucking know. Some Ninja Turtle bullshit, like front choke when Chiesa gets tied. Tony fucking rocks him on the feet with something ridiculous, and then Chiesa shoots a sloppy takedown and gets fucking front choked.
Yeah, sure. I'd love to see it. Lou?
I mean, if you're not throwing $10 on a Brenner round 3, Tony round 3 parlay for like generational wealth, you're not a fan of the sport. Like, it has to be done, man.
Will Fanatics pay you out for that though if it cashes?
Well, hey, I'm the slayer of books. They paid me today, so Lou won, them nothing. I did find a bet. That I like on this fight, and I don't feel like it's crazy disgusting. Aaron, do you feel like this fight goes a distance at a fairly high clip?
Yeah.
I took Ferguson plus 3.5 on Bet Online. It's plus 250 for Ferguson to win a round. And I mean, let's not forget, Chiesa is a commentator. I can't stress this enough. A minus 800 guy is a commentator.
He's Anthony Smith's coworker.
Right. Like, say what you want about Ferguson. He's facing a commentator. And
on a 3-fight losing streak.
And his 2 favorite hobbies are the outdoors and getting darsed. And Tony Ferguson, I don't think he really cares about the outdoors. He loves darsing fools. And so how does Tony Ferguson win a round here? He either goes old school for a round, which, like, look, man, maybe he's got like one old school round in him. Because if he does, he's better than Chiesa. Like, he's going to beat him everywhere. And if he doesn't and Chiesa gets sloppy, which, I mean, he's prone to do, I think Tony could grab a neck. But, I mean, for him to win one round, and I need to say that last week, we had a guy in Daniel Pineda who couldn't see, he couldn't stand. And because Nathaniel Wood's like the biggest hooker ever to do it, Pineda won round 3 on every scorecard.
Mm-hmm.
Like, so the biggest dog on the card last week won a round. I don't think it's inconceivable that Tony Ferguson could not die and win one round. And at plus 250, I think it's absolutely worth a poke. So it's a way to bet him without being like everybody in the community and being like, oh, of course I'm betting him. Like,
can I just say one more thing? Last week, the Bobby Green and Paddy Pimblett fight looked a little strange with how it ended, we'll say.
Oh, it was a dive. 1,000,000%.
And when in the rest of time will Michael Chiesa be a minus 600 favorite? We've seen our boy, is it Jacob Silva from 125 in Fury FC? Is that his name? Is it Jacob Silva? Is that the guy who once in a while he'll be minus 500 and take a dive over there to stay in Fury? We've seen this over in Fury. This could be the Fury dive where it's the minus 625 guy just diving into the old Darce and you're like, oh, it's Michael. And then they have the I will remember you as dual highlights of Ferguson and Chiesa play, and they both retire in Abu Dhabi and kiss.
I mean, did Nico Price take a dive against Lawler?
Absolutely. Yes, and I bet Lawler hard, and then there was a highlight package for Lawler already queued up. We'll let Lucky get into this good technical breakdown here. Go ahead.
I mean, I wish I could, but like, what is there even to say about Tony fights in 2024? He has an overwhelming likelihood of losing almost all his fights. From here on out, he lost 7 fights in a row. But what's so crazy is he's lost 7 straight fights. His UFC record is still 15-8. Like, it's crazy. It's sad to see, man. He was 15-1 in the UFC before that Justin Gaethje fight. Came in on 12 straight wins. And Now he's 40 years old on 7 losses in a row. He's like the Joe Biden of the UFC kind of, he's in rough shape and everyone is kind of starting to feel badly for the guy. Chiesa is done too, though. He's 36. He's lost 3 straight. Even Kevin Holland cooked him in under 3 minutes. And if Kevin Holland fries you up in round 1, like, you're done. It's over. Okay. Except Fluffy Hernandez. But Tony in this condition at 170, I think he's more done than Chiesa is. I mean, that's really the best and only endorsement I can give Michael Chiesa here. The only positive I can think of on the Chiesa side is that he's in a fight with Tony Ferguson and he's not Tony Ferguson. So, you would have to threaten me with a firearm to get me to pay minus 600 on Michael Chiesa in 2024. But, if I had to say who has a better than 50% chance of winning, probably Michael Chiesa.
All right. My 625 favorite has the better chance of winning here. They don't even know if the over-under. It's minus 125 to the over 1.5 or 2.5. So that's really not bad at all there. But either way, I'm not betting this fight at all. I'm probably not going to watch it. But third from the top, this is probably one of the best fights on the card as well. Very high-level bantamweight fight. 2 of my favorite guys at bantamweight, Marlon Vera, Davidson Figueiredo. The unfortunate part for Marlon Vera is I think that his best weapon of 5 rounds is gone here. The guy has never found a fight he wants to start quickly in his life. He allegedly got a split decision against Cory Sandhagen. No, he didn't. And I am the biggest Vera fan on the panel. And no, he did not get a split decision. Vera is just his last, really great true Vera performance that blew me away was the Dominic Cruz fight. Even the Pedro Munoz fight, it was just fought too closely. The same issues continue to come up. And 3 rounds against Davidson Figueiredo, I don't like his chances. I'm really surprised here. I bet Davidson Figueiredo separately at minus 130. I just feel he should be a significantly larger favorite in this spot. I think he's adjusting the bantamweight better with each fight. I think that he is the better grappler here as well. I think he's going to take down Vera quite a bit and control him there. I don't think this fight's going to be fought on the feet a whole lot. And even on the feet, I think it's relatively even, but I think Davidson Figueiredo takes it to the ground and gets it done there by decision. So I like Davidson Figueiredo. I think he's the better MMA fighter, higher volume, and I just think he's got more to offer at 135 at this point, which pains me to say. Lou, what's your thoughts on this one?
Yeah, I'm with you. I like Figueiredo decision here. Not like Figueiredo is also historically fast starter either, but he does have more paths here. And the only thing that you didn't bring up is that, there is a very good chance that O'Malley just took Vera's soul with that fight. That was a lot. I know he didn't get knocked out. I know he landed shots in the 5th, but he took a shit ton of damage in that fight. That knee, he took a colossal beating in that fight. And now he's got to take a step down mentally. He's out of title contention. Probably not happening for him at this point. Let's be honest. Maybe, and I know Vera is not 40, but I don't know a path where Vera gets back to the title. So maybe he's just a gatekeeper.
Yeah, and the thing with Vera's toughness is that not getting finished in a lot of these fights is not going to help him with longevity.
No, it's not. It's gonna, it's gonna help him. It's gonna help him co-main event fight nights. That's what it's gonna help him do in his career. It's not gonna help him get the title. And this is the part I don't understand is they really seem to want to push Figueiredo in this division, and I feel like they know there's a short window. I feel like Figueiredo decision. To Jackie's point, my point deduction fight is the Dumas fight, the Yambag special, because it just has to be the Dumas fight. But start off the night with nobody's getting a point deducted ever again. That's a whole different show and diatribe.
Amen.
But I'm with you. I think Figueiredo, and he's got a huge reach disadvantage here, but I don't even think it matters because I don't think Vera uses his range great. He doesn't throw a lot of straight punches. It's all hilarious, fun shit. I think Figueiredo can slip in a distance, at least enough to get takedowns. And the third round would probably be a little dicey here. I would favor Vera to probably win round 3 at a decent clip, but
Sure.
I think Figueiredo does enough in the first 2 rounds to win a decision here. A clean decision, like no debate. He wins the first 2, loses the third. It's clean.
I'm not a big spread better, but this feels like a good spread spot possibly for.
Yeah, but if the over's so juiced that you're not getting.
See, I don't know anything about. All right, Lucky. I'm very curious your thoughts on this one.
Yeah, good fight. Really good fight. Marlon Vera makes his return after coming up short against O'Malley in a title fight that probably didn't deserve to be in. O'Malley would just, prove he's on a different level. I made very good money on Sean minus 200 there. I've never been a huge Marlon Vera guy. He's good and he's always been good, but he's not great. And I don't think he ever was great. And Figueiredo at one point was absolutely great. The question we need to answer is whether or not he still is. And, full disclosure, and this type of thing never affects my reads, as you guys know, but Figueiredo is one of my favorite fighters probably ever. I'm a huge fan of him. His finish against Joe Benavidez on Fight Island in 2020 is one of my favorite finishes ever. He's a savage. Vera's a savage too, though. The head kick that he hit Dominic Cruz with, you could see the nose break, made me some money there. The front kick that he KO'd Frankie Edgar with, some vicious finishing sequences on both sides. Won some money on him on the decision against Pedro Munoz as well. I think I've picked like 8 of his fights. I think I've only been wrong once. Chito Vera has a lot of advantages in this fight. He's considerably younger. He's the more natural 135er, bigger guy. People also talk about Chito as kind of low output due to the fact that he gives away early rounds with really low activity. But even still, he is statistically on a per minute basis considerably higher volume than Figueiredo. He's eclipsed 100 significant strikes 3 times. He's eclipsed 80 and 90 plenty of times in 3 rounders. Like once he gets going, he's going. But having a slow first round against Figueiredo, I think, is not ideal here. We've seen Chito lose to a healthy portion of the top guys at this weight. Sandhagen, O'Malley, Aldo, Song. Going back, way back, Andrade, Lineker, Davey Grant, he's not winning a belt in this weight class, just plain and simple. He's not good enough. I think Figueiredo's more skilled. I think, he gets hit less, which is going to be important physically and optically because Chito is damn near indestructible and he wears damage extremely well. I think that Figueiredo's the better grappler. I think he's a little bit more accurate with the striking. I think he's got better momentum coming into this fight. I just think he's a little better. And I think if he comes in here and does his thing, I think he takes round 1 at a pretty good clip. And I just have trouble, trusting Vera to win from behind against a guy like Figueiredo at the necessary percentages to favor him here. There's obvious concerns on Figueiredo. He's halfway to 37. He's a smaller guy. But these are 2 guys that are dangerous, 2 guys that are durable. I'm siding with Davis Figueiredo here. The price makes sense to me. I'm not sure I really want to jump in with my money on this one, but I do think, Davis and Figueiredo deserve favorite here. I think he wins.
Yeah, another note for Vera is he goes to that guillotine a lot as his takedown defense. It's just that kind of not fully committed guillotine, which is not going to work against someone like Davidson. 2 cents. What's your thoughts on this one?
I agree, and dude. So anybody listening, smash the like button. Got to get Aaron at least 10 likes for the stream. Yeah, dude, you're listening to like one of the biggest Cheeto backers in Aaron, and then like one of the biggest fucking Cheeto haters in my fucking ass, dude. If Cheeto ever like snaps and loses it and decides to like go after people that have talked shit about him, like Jay and Silent Bob style, your boy is in a lot of fucking trouble. Because I have drugged Cheeto's name through the fucking mud over the years doing predictions and stuff.
It's true. I've had to defend him many times.
Dude, like, it's bad, man. So, yeah, I'm hoping that doesn't happen. But give me Figgy by Coach Khabib here, dude. He's been working with Umar and Khabib. I think he is going to go to the grappling. I think he is the more dangerous. Like, Cheeto's a good grappler, too. I'm not going to hate on him for that. But, yeah, I think Figgy is a little bit more apt to go for the finish earlier. Even though he is a little bit of a slow starter, but definitely not as bad as Cheeto in a 3-rounder. I got to favor Figgy. I did parlay him. So I'm a little like nervous about that, but I don't think the line is too bad for like a former champion and someone that I think, even though he's older, like I think he is like y'all were saying, he's looked better at bantamweight and It's a short window for him, and I think this is going to be the start of his title run, honestly, if he beats Cheeto. So, yeah, figgy fig. I'm a stan, but, yeah, let's fucking go.
All right, and Lou. All right,
I started this one off. I'm with you.
Okay, so yeah, -1. My bad. He's the final piece of the Zhongli. Just so everybody does know that. My bad. They're -140 currently to Figueiredo. So we move on to the final two fights of the night. The co-main event, another circus fight that I want nothing to do with. I wish all of my friends who have Lord Michael bets out there all the best. I think this fight is going to be just an absolute sloppy stand-up war until somebody gets caught at the beginning to middle of the second round probably and goes down. I hope it's Shara, but I have a feeling Shara is going to keep his bullet train going here. This fight is not made for Lord Michel Olajaychuk to win a co-main event in Abu Dhabi and be praised. It's made for the one-eyed man to get one step closer to, I don't know, a nice glass eye like the one from Last Action Hero, Charles Dance. Shara by second round KO, and I don't want anything to do with this fight. Lucky, go ahead and start us off.
Yeah, Shara Bullet is getting right back in there. It's a more difficult opponent than last time, that's for sure. Not quite difficult enough for me to pick against him yet. People are pretty horny to bet against him. I think he's just a tad better than people are ready to admit. Olajaychuk is still on that level where I think Shara gets past. The Silva fight, he's up 2 rounds pretty clear. He didn't give 100% effort in the third. The Trockley fight, I mean, that was what it was. It was just a warm body for him to punch and kick. Both guys kind of had something I don't think that Michal has, which is the propensity to wrestle here. I don't think we're going to see Michal go to that. Maybe he tries it, but he barely ever does it. So, I think Shara is getting obviously a step up in terms of overall skill level, but I think it's, a good stylistic matchup for him because I think they're going to kickbox. And, Kevin Holland walked through Michal, Michelle Pereira walked through him. Everybody has walked through him lately in his losses. His most recent wins are Cody Brundage, Sam Alvey, Chidi, and Joe Kuwani. I don't think Shara is a lock by any means, but I do think he's better, and I think he makes sense as a favorite up to like -190, maybe -200. Anything above that, I think, is the hype tax. Bet online open this -175 Shara. That makes sense to me. Current price, a little too much for me to want to jump on there, so I'll be staying off. I don't think this is the Shara fade people are hunting for just yet in Michal Olajaychuk.
Yeah, I agree, and I want nothing to do with it. No bet here. 2 cents.
Yeah, you're talking to or you're listening to a fucking certified Shara stan. So take that with a grain of salt or for what it is or whatever. But yeah, I like Lucky just said, man, it is a good stylistic matchup for Shara. Like Magomedov is nasty on the feet, dude. He's gonna struggle versus elite grapplers, I fear. But this is like Mikhail or Lord or whatever the fuck he's going by. He's gonna give Shara the kind of fight he wants, and I think they put Shara in here on short notice for a reason. Like, I think he's going to make an example out of Mikhail. He's coming back very fucking quickly after getting his goddamn arm broken in half pretty much. So I can't see how in any way does that fucking bode well. I don't know. You tell me. But, yeah, give me Shara Putin by KO or pretty convincing decision.
All right. Lou, are we all on Shara Island for Fight Island?
Yeah, I mean, I think he wins. My bet, I took the under 1.5 at plus money here. I think Olajaychuk's win condition is round 1. Dude's not even training. Like, straight out of a garage. He's openly saying, like, I quit if I lose. Like, I mean, also, this is our co-main event, ladies and gentlemen. Like,
terrible.
Like, I mean, we was in Chukwu against Kudiyaba, and that ended up being the main event because of a cancellation. I mean, like, that was terrible. I mean, all these co-main events are Anthony Smith, Ryan Spann, This is in the annals of history. This is like a thing they have in common. Olajaychuk is like at his peak, like if he wants to be, is clearly in my opinion, clearly the more skilled guy. Like I think he's probably the better striker. Not kicking game, but I think his boxing's better. He has a grappling path, but he's not going to grapple, and we know this. And he's going to die in like 3 minutes. I think Shara round 1 KO is likely, but like I can't discount Olajaychuk just being like, fuck it, I have 3 minutes of cardio. Like, let's go. Like, and just maybe he bum rushes him and kind of catches him off guard and knocks him out. But yeah, Shara within the first 7.5 minutes of this fight just knocks him out.
Yeah, Paul wants to do the undefeated Russian parlay with Dudikova, Shara, Umar, and add Azamat in there. That has a decent chance of hitting. Why not? But yeah, Shara's gross, and minus 240 is also gross, but he probably wins this fight. Let's be honest. All right,
he's one step closer to again fighting in Abu Dhabi against nobody. Like I don't know what his ceiling is here.
He's one step closer to the edge, and I'm about to break. Main event time: Cory Sandhagen, Umar Nurmagamedov. Bantamweight fight, 5 rounds, very good fight. Winner most likely gets the next title shot. And I think early on, Paul asked about O'Malley at plus 130 against Merab. I don't know. I would take O'Malley at plus 130 in that spot. Because after one stuffed takedown that gets flipped to like a minus 300 line. And what is O'Malley doing to prepare right now? I've got to imagine trying to defend a takedown or two. But back to this fight here. Very, very good high-level fight. Umar's looked very good so far in his UFC career against Brian Kelleher, Nate Maness, Rayoni Barcelos, and the Bekzat Alama Khan. So now he faces Cory Sandhagen. Cory Sandhagen is the longest, tallest bantamweight, uses it very well. Very high fight IQ, good hands, good boxing. I just think there's a lot to really like, and I also think that Umar could just Dagestani wrestle him over and over and repeat for 5 rounds and, kind of cruise to a decision here. At the same point, I think that Cory Sandhagen gives him a real fight. We're going to find out, I think, a lot about Umar in this spot, how he looks getting into a 3rd, 4th, and 5th round, how he carries his cardio here. I think there's a lot of question marks because of all that. It makes me want to take a shot on the dog to end the night. I have not gotten there yet, but I think Cory Sandhagen could win the decision in this spot. But I just can't quite get there yet, so I am going to go with Umar to get a split decision robbery. I just have a feeling Umar takes the win, but I do think he gets a little exposed here by Cory. I just think Cory comes up short. Judges don't like Cory Sandhagen. Got a split decision against Chito Vera in a fight where he dominated it. He could do the same thing here against Umar and lose that fight. So, there's a lot we don't know about Umar. We'll find out maybe more about it here, but I'd love to get to that Cory Sandhagen number. It's very, very tempting, but I'm taking Umar by decision. No bet for me. Just watching. Lou, close us out.
Is it weird? Like I went through Umar's tape, and I'm like, oh, there's nothing memorable here. Like
no,
he's good. He's just a guy, and like the Bekzat fight, he got knocked down. Like he got tagged early, and I think we talked about it on this show. Like Bekzat's, I took that on super short notice. He's decent, man. Like, and I thought it was a good win for Umar. Like, because that was like a super tough opponent stylistically, and after just getting rocked, like, because Bekzat, like, is a really good grappler, like has reversals, just couldn't do anything.
Stylistically, nothing really like Cory Sandhagen, though. He's like a smaller, bantamweight.
Yeah. And to your point, like, yeah, the judges hate him. I mean, like the Dillashaw fight, and I had a bet on Dillashaw there, and Dillashaw didn't win that fight.
No.
The Cheeto thing was just like a weird outlier. Like I don't know. Everything wasn't as like 50-45 and 49-46.
I think they probably misread a scorecard if I had to guess.
Yeah, it was bizarre. Like for me though, I feel like Umar probably early while they're dry gets takedowns. I don't know if Cory really does much, but dude, Cory's got a lot of 5-round experience, man. He's pretty tough. Like the one time he was finished was like a flukish finish.
Yes,
it's not like other than that, I don't even remember him getting hurt. Like he's pretty safe. So which means Umar is not going to have like huge moments. I just kind of feel like Umar probably does enough for 3 rounds, dominates minutes, does no damage.
Mm-hmm.
And then maybe Cory looks good at the back end. To your point, I see the appeal in the dog here. It's hard for me to think that Sandhagen wins decision in Abu Dhabi. Like, I get it. Umar decision is like plus 110. It's gross. I don't really want to bet this fight. I really want to watch this fight. I don't personally need to have money on this fight.
No, like, let's just count our Zhongli.
Dude, I agree. There's no reason. Like, I get it. You look at that Cory Sandhagen number, like he's almost a 2-1 favorite. Like, it almost kind of seems like a value trap, though. Like, it's almost impossible to envision Cory Sandhagen's name getting read in a decision in Abu Dhabi. Like, even if he wins, like, even if everyone is saying that, like, we thought Cory won, I can't get there myself. I really want to bet Cory, but like I feel like it's so fucking hard to bet against Coach Khabib, dude. Like he is so fucking good at coming up with these game plans. Like he cousin, we're not losing this fight. I just don't think he's gonna let Umar lose. Like I could see him getting sparked out though. Like Cory throws flying knees, Umar's gonna be going for takedowns. Like I could see that happening. So I get it. Like Cory Sandhagen at that number, sure, but it's Cory or pass. I'm going to be fucking passing, like Lou said. There's no reason to. Like, there's plenty of spots on this fight. Fight card to, like, get greasy with. I like this fight just to watch it. So, yeah, give me Umar by horrific fucking robbery.
That was a horrific line skip by 2 cents over Lucky. And I can't believe Lou just let you do that to Lucky.
He is my tag team partner, man.
I know. So this is a bit of a lovers triangle.
And I love how you're gonna make me last to fucking break this down, even though I wasn't. Whatever.
I'm trying. Wait,
I like how I'm automatically last. Whatever.
I'm just doing my best to keep track. I'm very stoned by the end of these shows, so you gotta give me a break. Lucky, what's your thoughts on this main event to close this out?
Yeah, geez, guys. All right, I'll give my take here finally. But yeah, really, really good fight. I think these are 2 of the best 135ers in the world. And yes, I do think Umar is one of the best 135 pounders in the world. Both fighters are high level and well rounded. Both of them can strike. Both of them can grapple. I have a take on this fight that I think some people might hate. I think Umar might perform better in both arenas on Saturday. Which isn't to say I think, he's a better pure boxer, kickboxer than Sandhagen, but I feel like he is really good there. And the threat of the takedown, I think, is going to lead to him, being even more effective, in that facet. So, his defensive awareness and range management on the feet is really good, and he's very accurate. And like I said, people worried about the wrestling allows him to be even better. And, Sandhagen is at 17-4. Still more or less at the height of his powers. Only 3 guys have been able to best him in 13 UFC fights. All of those guys have been bantamweight champion. And, then there was Jamal Emmers once upon a time in the regionals. But, I know people have issues with Umar, the pullouts, the favorable treatment, and, whatever else you may take issue with. I don't like it either, but he is really good, in my opinion. I think he's completely legit. I think at the very least, he's like a top 10 guy in this division in the world, at worst. But I do think he's one of the best. I think he belongs here. And, at a certain point, if he's that good, which, I think he is, and I think plenty of people on the inside think he is as well, he's got to get this type of a fight at some point. He's 28, he's halfway to 29. Let's see if he can be in the title picture or not. And I think it's kind of a win-win for everyone. if you hate him and you think Sandhagen's going to fraud check him, like, here's your opportunity on Saturday. You know, this is what you wanted. If it doesn't happen, then, you know, clearly he belongs all along. So, you know, -2 or -3xx on Umar, that's not doing it for me. But I do think he wins this fight against Sandhagen. He's in Abu Dhabi. You know, that seems to have kind of an effective amelioration on the performance of fighters from the Islamic parts of the world. And, you know, it seems like this moment has been a long time coming. You know, you got O'Malley talking about, I'd love to fight Umar. I think that'd be a big fight. I feel like UFC agrees. I think they like the sound of that matchup. I'd probably line Umar probably like, I don't know, -160-ish here. So I'm pretty much priced out of any money line action on him. I'm picking him, no action. I'm just hoping for a great fight. You know, may the best man win here.
Yep. I think this is one that a lot of people are very willing to sit down on and just watch. You're not going to get Umar for under -250 anytime soon against really anybody. So it is what it is. So we are all on Umar Island there, but no real surprise there. And Cory Sandhagen +260, currently -325. Yeah, this has been a good show. Glad Lou could make it towards the end there. All good there. We know that the prop show had to go on. Now we're to the point of the show that we've all been waiting for. I would have loved to come on here and say we're in back-to-back Zhang winning weeks. We came up one short. We're 9 of our last 10, which means we've hit 1 of our last 2 Zhang Li's. Colin Laharin, dead to everybody. Yeah, what was we thinking? But this week, Zhang Li starts out with the first fight of the night. SD Dumas is in the Zhang Li. Jordan, the epidemic Vucenic, also in the Zhang Li, one of 2 dogs in the Zhang Li. Shamil Gaziev with the Don't Tail Fade. Elvis Brenner, and then carving it out, Davidson Figueiredo, to give us a nice tidy +2540 Zhang Li parlay for this week. Let's see if we can make it 2 of 3. But I will go around to everybody to just get any plays, any bets they have. But thank everybody on the panel. Again, it's SD Dumas, Jordan Vucenic, Shamil Gaziev, Elvis Brenner, Davidson Figueiredo +2540 if you put it in right now. So good luck to everybody. We've hit 7 Zhang Li's, going for number 8 this week. Thank you, everybody, for joining us. Lucky. Got any plays for this week yet? And any thoughts on LFA, Fury, anything else? Putting you on the spot a little bit here, but any other thoughts on the weekend of combat sports?
Yeah, well, I mean, first off, thank you for having me on. It was fun to chop this one up with you guys. Some good fights that we're going to get to watch on Saturday. I'll be watching from the golf course, actually, because this one's starting so early. So have it on my phone in the golf cart. That'll be fun. But, yeah, the only bet I have so far, I have Luca Godinez +114. And, yeah, as far as, LFA goes, I had a little bit of a look. I almost wanted to take a poke, like I was telling you before, on James Gonzalez. You know, we're in New York. He's the Law MMA guy. I'm not sure if I really want to get involved. I just feel like neither of them are really that good to the point that I want to trust them with any money. I would probably go James Gonzalez in that co-main event as the underdog if you put a gun to my head. Main event, probably Natasha. The line kind of got blown out. It was sitting at pick for a while, but, I saw her go, oh, it looks like it's flipping on Bet Online anyway. I still in that one, she's just a little one-dimensional and a little bit old to where I don't know if I think I'm just happy to sit that one out. So yeah, that's kind of the LFA thoughts there. I don't have anything. Just one bet so far for the week. So we'll see if I get anything out there. I see Liz Carmouche or Tyler Santos. Honestly, man,
PFL.
I wouldn't lay this chalk number on Santos, to tell you the truth, but then it's like Carmouche is 40. So that really kind of keeps me off of getting involved. If she was a little bit younger, I do think there's a little bit of meat on the bone at that price. But yeah, I'll stop holding everybody up. We can get around.
Trust me. I've looked into PFL this much. My days of PFL capping ended in season 3. Lou.
I'll be spending the next hour editing the show I just did before I got here. And I don't know. Just follow me on Twitter. I don't care.
Any bets you like for the week yet?
No, this card's terrible. Like,
there we go.
And it's juice parlays, and it's so not my style. The under 1.5 in the Charlotte plus money, I think, is kind of weirdly my favorite play. And I'm even like, I'm gonna lose this play to take my co-main event record to like I'm gonna have Glass Joe's record and Punch Out soon at 1.99 on like co-main events. So it's probably going over to high clip now that I like the under.
Fair enough. And Mr. 2 Cents, all reliable himself. Thank you for making it as always. Any bets you got on the weekend? Thank you for making that trip.
Hey man, thank you for having me as always. Shout out to you guys on panel as always. Best of luck to you. Best of luck to everybody in the chat, man. Y'all are the shit. Make sure y'all smash the like button for Aaron if you haven't already. And dude, tail the fucking Zhang Li. Like Aaron said, it has hit so many fucking times this year. It is such a fucking low risk, high reward. It's almost like a free play, dude. And it has been a large part of my sustained success in 2024. So Aaron, shout out to you for constantly putting out that awesome fucking play that hits at a way higher clip than it has any business hitting at. I'm tailing it this week, so that is one of my bets. I took a flyer on the fucking Ninja Turtle for the culture at plus 500. The pub parlay core is Shamil Gaziev and Shar Bullet plus 105. So I bet that the leg I added was Figgy, and that's plus 243. So those are my plays, and best of luck to everybody, man. Thanks for having me again, Aaron.
Yep. Thank you to the panel. Thank you to the chat. Shout out to Paul. I haven't seen you in here lately, but always good to see you when you make it in. Jimmy making the trip down. Justin, Mr. Sharbullet himself, Charstan, Stubborn Mick, Brian, one of the clown show guys who pops up here once in a while, so that's good. Alex, everybody else in the chat, appreciate it. Panel, appreciate you. Enjoy the fights. They start at noon this week, and got PFL one of these days, and got Fury. We got LFA. Good weekend of combat sports. Peace out, everybody.